after such a long while. What's up everyone, it's Jambor's new video, and today I'm going to talk about big 5 countries at Eurovision 2023 and why most of them underperformed, basically flopped, and why some country, basically just one, Italy, performed quite well when basically almost no one expected it. I did. Let's talk. Guys, I know you haven't heard from me for a long while, there are many reasons behind it and there are no excuses also acceptable, but I just couldn't do it, or when I could I just didn't have a mood. But now I'm kind of back and I will try to have all my free time dedicated to Eurovision, especially to some of those drawbacks, looking bad, hindseeing, however you can call it, however you name it, and I will try to have some 5 countries all the time, 5, 6, 4, depends on the region, on whatsoever. Why did they fail or why did they really went greatly? Basically some kind of summary of those countries at Eurovision 2003, what I think, why they placed where they placed, and what I generally think out of it. And today I'm going to talk about the big 5, and the big 5, it's always a huge topic. They are automatically in the finals. I didn't brought in Ukraine into it because it's completely another story. I just wanted really to focus on those big 5 countries who spend the most money, who has the biggest audience and whatsoever, and they've done great job over recent years, and I'm meaning it. I think all of them improved very well. Few of them implement national selections. Germany has selection. Spain finally has a selection, which is actually great. Also, Italy has a selection, which is basically not a selection for Eurovision, but kind of a tradition that winner of Sanremo goes to Eurovision. I think 99% of the time, 95. I know in 2017 it was a bit different, or it was it? Yeah, I think it was 2017. Write me in the comments below what you think. Actually, that basically applies for all of you. Write me in the comments below whenever you feel you need to do it. Share your thoughts with me, please. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Also, it's going to be like that. I will go from country to country to country, tell you what I think about each of it, and then I will do the summary of it all. Then we can also have a chat in the comments below. But let's talk about the first country on the list, and that's Italy. What to say about Italy, guys? You know I adore it. I follow Sanremo. You know my opinion about its music industry. I just summarize it for the ones who doesn't. I adore it. I adore Sanremo. I think there are another 10 other artists who can represent Italy easily and do the same good result. Good. Perfect. No one expected it, that Italy will end up 4 in Eurovision. And I'm asking myself why. Always perfect singing, good, I would say even more than decent song, perfect performer, and only what we are always like afraid of kind of gonna be the staging, what it's about the staging, because we know that Italy mostly kind of suffered from stagings because they were mostly the favorites. So why they haven't been favorites for this Eurovision? It's kind of a surprise for me. They were always around like 15th to 10th, you know, in the odds. And I was like, wow, well, I'm missing something. Maybe it's not the greatest song after all. I agree, it's not the best song from Marco Mengoni. I really believe that he has much better songs, but I became a fan of this also. And still, I must agree that when you're watching his performance, it's something like, wow, it's something spectacular, it's something special, it's something which none other country kind of has such full package artists. I would say that Italians has the best artists in the continental or on the continental Europe regarding the world appear, world music, world, you know, those colors, something which makes them special. And I think it's a super professional musical industry and such a high competition they have. And whoever told me that the competition doesn't drive to better and better music and better artists, I don't believe in it. I believe that the bigger and tougher competition it is, it's better for the whole musical industry in the country, and I think Italy has one of the biggest ones. So, well, that's the reason why they do best scores, because they're sending the best artist of the year, basically, because who's winning Sanremo, this is a huge thing. this is a huge thing, and we can really believe, and you can trust me, that if they continue this way, they will be always top 10 minimum. That's what they do. That's what they do the best, because they're sending not just good music or great music, they're sending perfect artists. And I kind of believe that if they do a bit better staging, they could end up third. Because in my opinion, the dress wasn't the best one. And also the guys, the trampoline guys, were distracting from the very intimate, very strong, very powerful song. But what I can really appreciate also was the work of camera, which I'm not sure from many other stagings would be the best part. This is the strongest part in here. The camera work, editing, it all went so smooth, and exactly listening the song, its topic, its tense, its narrative, that it really worked kind of well. And I think that's the reason why it scored 3 from the juries. Well, it was third at juries, and that's not a surprise because, you know, professionals can't feel it. But it was 6 from public also. So I believe that's something which just shown that a really good music can really collect all the goods from both sides. And that was the only country from the Big 5 who achieved this. No surprise. But there was also a country which has the same feeling from juries and the public, kind of, to be fair, and that's France. But it's 14th place and 15th place accordingly, and I would say it's even better score than I would expect it after I saw the performance. First of all, I was a fan of the song. It was appearing in my top 10, top 15. It was one of the best songs for listening, and to be actually very honest, it's one of the most popular songs on Spotify also, even nowadays, even after Eurovision, which I think this is the biggest success. So the song, there is no problem with the song. I think there was a problem with the performance itself for many reasons. First of all, Lazara didn't really sing perfectly. It was in the same tone all the time, kind of. It wasn't the best staged because, okay, it was a huge dress, then the dress was of huge column or pillar she was on, but there's nothing spectacular if it's not edited well. And I would say that the camera angle and the tempo rhythm of the editing didn't really, or the cuts if you like, didn't really help the tempo of the song. And with all those effects were there, it wasn't sold out. It wasn't sold out only about lights. It's not a modern television in my opinion, and I would say this tempo slower didn't really help the whole song out. So it tried to be huge, but actually it didn't look that huge. If you remember Barbara Pravi, it just was it was like cinematography. It was like watching a movie, a clip from the movie. It was one of the best stagings I've ever seen. This one was made on huge prop, and I think huge props are a dead concept. It's not about a huge prop. If you have a great song, it will work whatever. But I think as a stage designer, kind of, you should think about the song itself, how to help it more than being just huge. Anyway, it was something which didn't help with all the light shows and everything, and also the singing wasn't actually perfect. So I think the overall 16th place is a blessing for France this year, honestly. Write me in the comments below if you don't agree, and let's move to Spain. Alright, Spain was 17, and before the show I made so many videos about, I just did few videos about Spain because I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to feel something about the song. The problem was, from the very first hearing, you can watch my reaction, was that I don't get it. It's not I don't like it, it's definitely not I don't like it, it's just I don't get it. Sound-wise, it didn't tell me anything, it just didn't. It was emptiness in me, and I felt like a monster that I don't get its specialty. And I can agree with all of you, and I think we all agree, that Blanca's Paloma voice is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal singer, No doubts about it. And also I think it was the best song which went out from Benidorm Fest, which is the national selection of Spain. And at this point, this is all great. And it's great that Spain is back on track. It's not last, it's sending quality singers with something special about it. Okay, this year it was 17th place, which I kinda expected that it as well can be a bit worse, because I did have a feeling that the others will feel the same, that they cannot connect with the song. And I think it was super niche. It was very local, and its tempo didn't work. So if you just don't get the tempo, it didn't have the typical flaws, there was nothing to catch on to really give it points. Why should I give it? Even the staging kind of works. It felt empty, it felt colorless, it didn't feel packed as in the national selection, and it didn't work on me in the tempo. And I think that the problem was also again with the camera work, which didn't really give it the edge, given the right moments. Even there were some parts where actually the camera moments were the best, maybe best at Eurovision, but it was just few parts when there was this shift, which I would say many other countries should use, especially when you have Q-Pilot and you can edit however you want. But accidentally no one did it. But the thing which killed this song better placing was basically the song itself, in my opinion, because it just didn't talk the right language, I would say. And that's not about Spanish language, I mean the language of music. It's just not for everyone. Does it make a wrong song? No, it still was 17. I think congratulations, Spain. I would say, Spain, you are on a very good track. Please continue this way. Don't just feel somebody hurt you. No one did it, and I think during the whole Eurovision process, you were one of the most liked songs also, and that says something, even for such niche song, and even for such niche song as Blanca Palomas was. United Kingdom, Maya Miller and her song Instead I Wrote a Song, or I Wrote a Song Instead. Terrible jokes on me, come on. I expected a flop in here. Guys, I did. Even this is also one of the most popular songs on Spotify from Eurovision this year, which I think this is the biggest achievement this song can have, because in studio version, it's basically perfect. It's fun, the music video is awesome. I kinda like it, even it's, let's say, generic from the rank, but it works. It's generic in a good way. It's very familiar, it's very dancey, it has very good lyrics. There's basically a formula-made song. There's nothing wrong about it, and I kinda like it and I kinda adore it. So whoever wrote it, because sorry, I don't remember, I don't have it in here, and it's not important for this video. Congratulations, because you guys done very good job. What was the problem? And this is always when I say this could be a problem for Eurovision. If you have an artist who just cannot really perform live pretty well, because the competition is high, the expectation is high, and I would say for the countries who are automatically in the finals, the expectations are even higher, because everybody else should just go through semifinals, you know, whether rules are here. So basically I think this song wouldn't do it, because even the public saw that especially first minute of the song is sung, well, come on, I don't want to insult anyone, but it wasn't good. It wasn't enough for Eurovision at all. It just wasn't it. It just wasn't, and I think basically this is the biggest reason why this song failed and went second to last. Also the staging, I wouldn't say, not in the way it didn't look good. I think the graphical palette looked great, all the pop art element looked great. I kind of liked it, even I'm not super big fan of having artists on the big screen. It was done properly, graphically, it was great, and I think that was the main point. It focused on the graphics and very static camera. When there was no movement on the stage, there was basically very few moments of editing, so I don't know if it's now trendy to don't have edits at Eurovision, which basically supports the system which can edit it more like a music video, which will bring the tempo more than basically lights, because if it's not shot in the way of huge depth of field, kind of you know, focus, and if you basically do this, and here is the depth of field, so you cannot see it. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology. Anyway, let's switch in here on manual. Let's hope I'm in focus. But what I think about is, say, if you just do this thing and they all behind you is the focused kind of is, it gives you this kind of narrative, it gives you another perspective, so you can play with lights much better because it feels more dynamic. If you just have the all in, you can basically see in focus everything. It's much harder, especially with a static camera. So if you're not an expert, you won't focus at it and it won't tell you nothing. So it feels like nothing is basically happening on screen, kind of. So I think that was the other thing, that even visually it didn't appeal. And the combination with the artist, who is static also on the stage and barely and sings like she sings, second to last was actually quite good. I would say the next time, hopefully, UK will do better with their international selection. Come on, with their international selection. I think one time they were a bit lucky and very good, and I think it's approved if they have just a good song. It's not enough, but if you have a great singer, the performer, it's always about the performer first. If you have a great performer, it will give you much more points than just a good song. That's what I would write down. And not the song. Now I'm out of the focus, on the focus. Anyway, last place. Okay, Poor Germany. I'm saying Poor Germany because I like their song. It was one of my favorite songs, especially after I saw the unplugged versions of the song, and basically I really like the guys from the band. It really was a surprise that it ended up kind of last because I was a fan, but honestly and very trying to focus on it as not a fun and looking at the flaws or cons this concept and the song and the band had. And I would say two things. First of all, such rockish music shown that it has a place at Eurovision, which Australia. But I must say that even I liked the staging from the light perspective. The rest of it, the cameras and especially the costumes, was the drawback of the song as hell. It just didn't work. It didn't fit the song, it didn't fit the atmosphere. It felt more like, and I would be very honest with this, let's show we are very inclusive, let's show it, but no one cares about this anymore. Like, we all accept everyone. Okay, there are some exception people who doesn't accept everyone, but also we should be very honest. We don't need to scream like, hey, we are here for everyone, so white costumes, we agree with everything, when it doesn't really fit the song. In my opinion, it didn't fit the song, it didn't fit the atmosphere of the song. It was a metal in glamour, but it just felt weird. I didn't feel the, how's it called, the fairy screaming, you know, a metal. It felt confusing, it felt uncomfortable, and I didn't enjoy it. It killed the song. I would say the costume I would say was the main problem. It just, I don't know. It was the expression of the artist, of course, which we must respect, but also it means 26th place. Even the song, in my opinion, was great, and even the singing, I would say, was very great. Maybe the first 10 seconds wasn't perfect, which also could affect the results automatically. But what I would really say also, that was probably one of the best light shows of Eurovision 2023, where every single element was reacting on any other tone, which I could hear, I could see, and I really appreciate such work with the lighting department. What I also, and again, has a problem with was the camera tempo. The tempo was killing the song. It just didn't go with the flow, it didn't narrate very well, and it helped me to focus on what's wrong more than what's good. Which, I don't know if this was a problem of the whole Eurovision. I think a lot of songs suffered from it. Maybe it just wasn't possible this year, or maybe it's just my craziness that I'm so much into editing than maybe something else, which also is not good, but I can see it, and that for me was disrupting. And I think Germany didn't really deserve 26th place. I understand why it's 26th, but also I would say, and for the encouragement of Germany, I think they're every day, but every single year on good track, even maybe they still keep to fail. I would say that Eurovision in Germany is rising in a way that it absorbs better and better artists and new artists, and it's not a wrong word to say Eurovision in Germany. And I really hope it's gonna rise and be bigger and bigger and slowly but quality get where it belongs, which just tend to do the same, improve bits by bits and focus on good artists. Maybe don't focus too much on songs, maybe not focus too much on songwriting camps, focus in general. Germany has 80 million inhabitants, maybe even more. There must be so many great artists. Give them the platform they deserve, because you're already doing a great job, and you will finally find out somebody who will give you something what Italy has with the right approach, which I think you will very soon figure out. I really hope. Let's summarize it. So was it a surprise how the countries ended up? I wouldn't say so. No one received 0, which would be very undeserved. I would also say that so many countries are very good track. I would say even the France should improve. They just do 1 year this and the second year that, and the third year another type of selection, and fourth this. And in my opinion, it feels arrogantly kind of the approach which the Europe doesn't like, I would say. And this is a handicap. The French flag, whatsoever, this is a handicap. But on the other hand, if they bring great song, great atmosphere, and after all, great artist, they will just do awesomely whether genre they will send. Whether I told about Barbara Pravi that her song is old school and obsolete, which I think it is, it doesn't matter, because it was a good quality song from the genre which is basically dead. Anyway, it deserved the third, second, or which place it was, but very, very high, almost a winner. So it would good. Spain is doing great job. Okay, sending something local maybe wasn't the best thing to do, but maybe it was the best thing to do in the long term, because that can attract another very good artist in Spain to enjoy Eurovision. Because if I'm Spanish, RTVE, I would really do the thing that I will sell 17th place as a victory, because it was victory. For such a song, it was, I would say, a victory. In Italy, I wouldn't change anything. In Germany, I wouldn't really change so many things. I wouldn't. I think they're on a very, very good track, and I just missed one country, which is UK. And in UK, I still don't get why, guys, you don't have national selection. You do one of the best televisions in the world. You can sell everything. You can promote as a BBC the best artists. This is the only huge, respectable musical event you have, I think, in your marks, on your channels. So why not to invest much more into it? Now we have the momentum to do it. Now you can do it perfectly. Just do variety. Do many different kind of artists. Don't do just one company selection. Do many company selections. Do direct casting selection. Go on streets, take some buskers. You have so many options. Like, you are the cradle of music in the whole world. So use it much better, because I think you can find gems and you can start winning Eurovision for real. Not just hosting it, but really, really winning it. But that's my opinion, and my opinion only. You can agree, you can disagree, you can give thumbs ups, you can give thumbs down, you can subscribe to the channel also. But what I would be really glad if you comment in the comments below. What do you think about my analysis? What do you think about my comments, about my thoughts, about the sharing of my mind too? If you agree or not, and why. I'm very curious, because probably I missed some details, or maybe I didn't understand well. Maybe you have completely different opinions than I do. And that's okay. Just share it with me. Don't be afraid of it, and watch my other upcoming videos and my videos from the past. And I see you there. Thank you for watching.